December Quorum Court meeting to order. Mr. Chitwood, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice Burge, would you give the invocation?
Thank you, Judge. Heavenly Father, we come thanking you for the day that you've given us, Father. We thank you for the blessings of the day. We thank you for the blessings of life, Father. We thank you that we live in a country where we can assemble and take care of the people's business. Heavenly Father, we pray that you will bless our efforts. May we always be sober and be honest, and most of all, serve the citizens of the county. And especially, Heavenly Father, we come thank you for this special time of the year. Help us always to remember, Father, of your tremendous love for your creation. We praise you and we bless you. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Justice Sash.
Here.
Justice Gulcher. Justice Byrd.
Here.
Justice Clay.
Here.
Justice Fleeman.
Here.
Justice Hinton.
Here.
Justice Hepler.
Here.
Justice Jackson.
Here.
Justice Nelson.
Here.
Justice Norval.
Here.
Justice White.
Here.
Next item on the list is the reading of the minutes.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we dispense with the reading of last month's minutes since we've all been provided with a copy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ms. Peggy, would you give us the treasurer's report, please?
Our interest rate today on $100,000 CD for 12 months is 2.25 at Farmers Bank. Our sales tax that we received in November was up from the previous month, and it was also up for the month of November. It was also up for the month of November that it has been in the last 9 years. So that's a positive note also. And you have your fund balance in front of you. We entered our final tax settlement that we've been talking about for the past few weeks. We entered that yesterday. So you will see the county general balance is up. It did make the $3 million mark, but it is a little bit below that today because of payroll. We put payroll in today, so it's just a little bit below $3 million now. Also, you will notice that senior citizens is in the negative. We have already made that transfer, their monthly transfer this month. So I know that has been addressed in the budget some already. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And of course, the jail is in the negative. We'll be making a transfer for that also. And that is about all I have.
Any questions for Peggy? Thank you. We'll move on to committee reports. Justice Byrd, would you give a committee report on the sanitation and solid waste?
Yes, thank you, Judge. The sanitation and solid waste committee met on December the 3rd. We reviewed the operations of the landfill for the first 10 months. Revenue is holding pretty true to last year. Our expenses are pretty well in line. We're looking forward to getting into the construction, hopefully by the first of the year on the new sales. And barring anything unforeseen, we think as the bills come in, we think we'll be able to take care of them on time. We also talked about the overtime, working on the budget for 2020. We talked about the overtime, which is running a little over budget. And there were some proposals made, there's some suggestions on that. And that will be moving forward then in the new year. And then that pretty well was the meeting, Judge. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Justice Burge. Justice Ash, would you give a report on the Personnel Committee?
Yes, Judge, thank you, sir. We dealt with, mainly with job descriptions. The assessor Harley Bradley and collector Susan McCormick have a person in Leachville. They wanted to move her to a chief deputy clerk. We looked at the job description on that and approved that to go over the finance for budget. Also, the juvenile department asked to have their part-time administrative assistant moved to a full-time position. That's also, I believe, in the budget tonight. We were reviewing, Ms. Janice asked for a title change for one of her clerks in Osceola. She's going to get us a job description for that position for one of our meetings here in the future. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Justice Ash. Justice Nelson, would you give a report on the Insurance Committee meeting?
Judge, I'll be delighted to do that. I think we came out, as they say, smelling like a rose. Stevens and Company, who had us previously, we contacted them. They came back with an excellent bid for us. So the bid was so good that we couldn't stand it, and we asked them to quote us a bid with a lower deductible, which they did. And so the deductible next year is going to be $1,500. And we were just delighted that we didn't have to pay 22% increase, that I think it's actually about 11% increase. That allowed us to have some money to give the county employees a nice little bonus this year, even though it might be a little late. But I think the insurance committee did quite well, and I want to applaud them for their hard work.
Well, we're thankful for you and for the Insurance Committee and bringing all this together and bringing us out of some very hard times as far as our insurance is concerned.
I think the deductible's $1,000. I may be wrong.
That's true. Right? I think so.
The deductible $1,000.
Justice Nelson, I think the deductible's $1,000 instead of $1,500.
I had 1,500 in my notes, but you could be correct.
I think we switched to the better plan and it was $1,000. For the employee's sake.
That is even better.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
Any other questions? Thank you, Justice Nelson. Justice White, would you give a report on the Finance Committee meeting?
Yes, sir. We had two this month, December the 5th on Thursday and December the 9th following Monday. Wrapping up the budget, everybody's been involved. Been a long and arduous process this year, both good and bad. Peggy's report a while ago reflected quite well on how well the elected officials have done in the 2019 budget. But building this 2020 budget has been a challenge. I passed everybody out a list that Kelly had emailed to most of us, if not all of us. Some of the last few changes that we made over the last 2 weeks in preparing the 2020 budget. The judge and county clerk will have a copy up on their desk also, but it went out in an email. But we've been having to tweak and turn and twist the budget numbers around to make this budget meet revenues. Remember, in the budgeting process, we can only budget 90% of our revenues based on state law. So trying to meet those at 90% projection and then with the expenditure request that we've got has been quite challenging. I would like to point out we've had two departments that have gotten really handy. And it's through no fault of anybody's except maybe the state and federal governments. One of them is the county jail. On the front page down at the very bottom, you'll see that she had to bump our transfer amount out of county general over to the county jail up to almost 1.8 million this year for the 2020 budget. You know, last year we kind of had a Cinderella year simply because of the court resolution and the jail fee issue with the city of Lyle, and we got an extra $900,000 that had accumulated over a period of years and was finally paid out last year. That helped a whole lot, but we don't have that this year. And at the same time, the state has changed the way that they are doing business with the counties. They're moving prisoners quicker. Now, they raised their daily rates, but they're getting them out faster. So we're not getting the state revenues that we have been receiving in the past several years, and that's got to come from somewhere. So we're having to bump up our projected transfers out of county general up to 1.787 million into the jail budget. The other one that's been hammered, it hasn't been quite so obvious to everybody. We've talked about it a few times, but senior citizens. And that is absolutely through no fault of anybody in Mississippi County. The personnel, Amanda and her people do a great job trying to work within their budget. The county has been supplementing their budget to the tune of $238,000 the last few years per year. And yet the state and federal governments keep cutting their revenues. They just cut and cut and cut. And it's getting to the point, it has gotten to the point, where Amanda and her people had to make some tough decisions. For one, they're letting go and cutting a janitorial position. They were part-time people have gone up to $10 an hour minimum per state law. It's just they're just having to really squeeze down. When Kelly and I talked earlier in the week, they were still like $62,000 out on the budget. So they really had to do some hard cutting. I don't know where we're going with that. The only thing that can happen if state and federal governments continue their trend is our services to our senior citizens will continue to go down. So just wanted to point those two things out. I asked Kelly to come tonight, and she's in the audience out here, and the reason I asked her to come was hands-on. I mean, she's made all these changes and adjustments where we needed to. I don't know what we've done, but she's done a really good job, and if you have any questions on this, then she's available to answer them tonight. You'll see as a result of our two meetings and with the results of the insurance committee's diligent work in reducing our insurance costs, we'll have two appropriation ordinances coming out of finance tonight. One of them will deal with the county bonuses, and we apologize to the county employees that we couldn't get them done any, but the insurance company that we've been using in 2019 was kind of holding our numbers hostage, and they wouldn't release what our loss ratios were for us to get competitive bids until just the last few weeks. So Stevens wasn't able to bid us these new numbers until just the last few weeks, and we just in the last 2 weeks found out what the new numbers would be, which saved us a lot of money. And once we realized we had a little extra there, we wanted to share it with the employees. So we're late getting the bonuses out, but we are giving bonuses. They're not as big as they have been. But I got to thinking on the way over here a while ago, in 2018 and 2019, guys, we've given $3,700 per full-time employee raises and bonuses combined in the last 2 years. $3,700. And we're not incorporating raises into this year's 2020 budget at this point in time, but we are at least giving a bonus. That bonus amounts to $600 per full-time employee and $300 for part-time employees, prorated based on data hire. So you'll see an appropriation ordinance that will be appropriating those bonuses, and then you'll see a second appropriation ordinance that will be setting the 2020 county budget. So it's been a lot of work. I'm appreciate everybody coming to the Finance Committee meetings and helping with this and giving us your input. The direction from the elected officials, from the judge and the clerk and the circuit clerk and the treasurer and collector and everybody. They've done a real good job in working with us and trying to make this budget work. So I'll shut it up unless y'all got questions. Judge, any questions?
Thank you, Justice White. Justice Jackson, would you like to give a report on the energy and property?
Well, I'm going to let Justice Ash give my report since I was unable to.
We had a very productive meeting, I think, this afternoon. We saw where how the plans were going for the new courthouse. Learned a lot about what's being done at this time. It's not anybody sitting still, it's just a matter of getting some things approved. We did agree to allow the judge to hire a sort of project coordinator that would coordinate between his office and the construction people and the architect, so that he won't be having to spend as much time at the construction side as he probably would without it. I was trying to remember what else we did discuss. There was a lot of discussion about small things that were going on with the plans, but I think altogether it was a very productive meeting. Questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Justice Ash. We'll move on to the resolutions.
Ask the clerk to read the resolution, please.
Resolution number R 2019-14. A resolution designating a part of Arkansas Highway 198 located between U.S. Highway 61 and the Mississippi River to be known as Corrente-Kennemore Parkway. Whereas former mayor of Osceola, Dickie Kennemore, has made significant contributions to the citizens of Mississippi County, Arkansas, and the city of Osceola, Arkansas, through his many years of loyal, dedicated, and devoted efforts through his office as mayor of Osceola, and also assisting in the creation of Great River Economic Development Association, which has created over 3,000 jobs for Mississippi County. Whereas in recognition of Mr. Kennemore's service, the Quorum Court has previously enacted resolution number R 2018-14, designating a part of Arkansas Highway 198 located between U.S. Highway 61 and the Mississippi River as Dickie Kennemore Drive, beginning at the intersection of Arkansas Highway 198 with U.S. Highway 61 near the west line of the southwest corner of Section 24, Township 12 North, Range 10 East, Osceola District, Mississippi County, Arkansas, thence run along Arkansas Highway 198 in a northeasterly and easterly direction through said Section 24 to and generally along the north line of Sections 19, 20, and 21, Townships 12 North, Range 11 East, to the end of Arkansas Highway 198 and at and or near the westerly bank of the Mississippi River. Whereas the Quorum Court wishes to further honor the late John Corrente, founder of Big River Steel, for his significant contributions to the citizens of Mississippi County, and whereas the Quorum Court wishes to amend resolution number R 2018-14 to rename the above described portion of Arkansas Highway 198 as Corrente-Kennemore Parkway. Now therefore be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that the noted part of Arkansas Highway 198, located between U.S. Highway 61 and the Mississippi River, shall be redesignated as Corrente-Kennemore Parkway in recognition of the late John Corrente, founder of Big River Steel, and Dickie Kennemore, former mayor of the city of Osceola, in recognition of their devoted services to the citizens of Mississippi County, Arkansas. Resolution number R 2018-14 is hereby amended where it conflicts with this resolution.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Justice Ash?
Yes.
Justice Byrd?
Yes.
Justice Clay?
Yes.
Justice Sleeman?
Yes.
Justice Hinton?
Yes.
Justice Hepler?
Yes.
Justice Jackson?
Yes.
Justice Nelson?
Yes.
Justice Normal?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
We just passed
Resolution number 2019-14.
resolution -14. We'll move on to the ordinance.
Yes, sir, I'd like to ask the clerk to read the ordinance establishing an additional motor fuel tax fund, please.
Ordinance number O 2019-41. An ordinance to establish the additional motor fuel tax fund, Act 416 of 2019, and to declare an emergency. Article 1, affirmation. It comes before this court that there is a need to establish a fund on the books of the county treasurer as a sub-fund of the county road fund number 2000 to track the revenues and expenditures of the wholesale tax on gasoline and diesel as levied by Act 416 of 2019. This court recognizes and affirms the need for such a fund to properly account for, control, and report expenditures of such in compliance with Act 416 of 2019, Section 6, and codified in Act number 26, annotated, Act 26-64-104. Article 2, establishment of fund. There is hereby created on the books of Mississippi County Treasurer a fund to be known as Additional Motor Fuel Tax Fund, Act 416 of 2019, with a fund number of 2003 as assigned by Arkansas Legislative Office. The revenue code for the county highway turnback receipted to this fund is 7,002. Article 3, operation of the fund. The Additional Motor Fuel Tax Fund 416 of 2019 is subject to all the normal county budgeting, appropriation, and expenditure regulations of Title 14 and Title 27 in Arkansas Code annotated. The fund is subject to annual reporting and disclosure requirements to be submitted to the Director of the Department of Finance and Administration. The report shall detail A, the amount of highway revenue turnback revenues received, B, expenditures made from the highway revenue turnback revenues received, and C, projects funded using the highway revenue turnback. Article 4, emergency clause. It is found by this court that since revenues from this source will be received in December, it is fundamentally necessary to establish the Additional Motor Fuel Tax Fund, Act 416 of 2019, immediately in order to track the revenue and expenditures in accordance with the precepts of Act 416 of 2019. Therefore, an emergency is declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from the date of its passage and approval.
Judge, this is an ordinance and requires 3 readings, and as such, I'd like to make a motion that we dispense with our, suspend the rules and advance to the second reading by title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Justice Ash?
Yes.
Justice Byrd?
Yes.
Justice Clay?
Yes.
Justice Sleeman?
Yes.
Justice Hinton?
Yes.
Justice Hepler?
Yes.
Justice Jackson?
Yes.
Justice Nelson?
Yes.
Justice Normal?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Resolution number, ordinance number O 2019-41. An ordinance to establish the Additional Motor Fuel Tax Fund, Act 416 of 2019, and to declare an emergency.
Judge, I'd like to make the motion that we dispense the rules one more time and, or suspend the rules one more time and move to the third reading by title only.
Is there a second?
Justice Ash?
Yes.
Justice Byrd?
Yes.
Justice Clay?
Yes.
Justice Sleeman?
Yes.
Justice Hinton?
Yes.
Justice Hepler?
Yes.
Justice Jackson?
Yes.
Justice Nelson?
Yes.
Justice Normal?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Ordinance number O 2019-41, an ordinance to establish the Additional Motor Fuel Tax Fund, Act 416 of 2019, and to declare an emergency.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Call the roll.
Justice Ash,
Yes.
Justice Birch,
Yes.
Justice Clay,
Yes.
Justice Fleeman,
Yes.
Justice Hinton,
Yes.
Justice Helper,
Yes.
Justice Jackson,
Yes.
Justice Nelson,
Yes.
Justice Normal,
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes. And I'd like to thank everybody for the vote. Judge, I would like to point out, the reason there was such a pressure on this, and we apologize that it didn't come before the full court, this came to Peggy just recently. I mean, like, in the last few days, correct, Peggy? And we've already received funds that were direct deposited into the county account, and we had to have this done to have some place to put it, according to state law. And the judge or Peggy, either one, can answer any questions regarding this fund, I would think, if you have any at all. But it was a necessary move that we had to make, and that's why the suddenness and the lack of information before now.
I think we received, was it a little over $13,000?
It was a little over 12 this
12.
month. And I think, after Kelly did the projection for the, it's like 140 something thousand for the year that maybe we'll receive next year.
That'll be a big help.
And Judge, that is included in the new budget, but because you haven't had time, I don't think really to look at it or talk about it, it is in your road fund. We've just put it somewhere to put it somewhere, and then it can be redone and moved, you know, if you want to work with the road committee or whatever you want to do, but it can be fixed. It's just we needed to get it in the budget.
Right, and I understand it.
The only thing different about it is everything has to be tracked. That's why it had to be set up in this separate fund.
And Peggy's given me the act, the verbiage in it, and we are trying to, or I am trying to catch up on how we're going to accomplish those goals.
Yeah, it doesn't really specifically say, you know, who.
We'll learn. All right, you just passed ordinance 2019-41. We have an appropriation ordinance for the 2020 budget.
Yes, sir. Ask the clerk to read, please.
Appropriation ordinance number O 2019-42. An ordinance to establish the annual operating budget for the calendar year 2020, appropriating funds for the operating accounts, appropriating transfers, and for other county budget purposes. Be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, Article 1, Annual Budget adopted by reference. The annual budget for calendar year 2020, identified as 2020 Annual Budget, Mississippi County, Arkansas, is hereby adopted by reference and attachment. A copy of said line item budget shall be filed in the office of the county clerk and shall be available for inspection and copying by any person during normal business hours. Article 2, non-restricted expenditure categories. Expenditure of funds appropriated by this ordinance shall not be restricted to the line item expenditure codes comprising the 4 major categories of expenditures: personal service, supplies, other services and charges, and capital outlays, but shall be restricted to office departmental expenditures within the above enumerated 4 major categories of expenditure, except for funds appropriated for personal salaries and wages and related employee benefits. Personnel expenditures shall not exceed the dollar amounts, number of employees, and salary or wage related specified in the annual budget and amended thereto, or a pertinent compensation of structure ordinance. The county judge is authorized and empowered to modify the appropriations of the ordinance by making transfers between 3 major categories: supplies, other services and charges, and capital outlays of expenditures within each fund, but not between funds. The county judge shall report to the Quorum Court any such modification. Article 3, expenditures restricted to specified fund. No expenditure of appropriated funds shall be made from any fund other than the fund specified in this ordinance or an amendment thereto. Article 4, transfers. Any transfers of money between the various funds of the county or transfers from the personal services category of any budget shall be made only with prior approval of the Mississippi County Quorum Court. Provided, however, all transfers budgeted for an annual budget shall be exempt from the provisions of this section. Article 5, appropriations. The 2020 Mississippi County appropriations contained in this ordinance are made within the maximum allowed percentage of anticipated revenue. Article 6, severability. If any provision of this ordinance or the application thereof to any such person or circumstance is held invalid, such invalidity shall not affect other provisions or applications of this ordinance which can be given effect without the invalid provisions or application. And to this end, the provisions of this ordinance are declared to be severable. Article 7, effective date. This ordinance shall be effective January 1 of 2020.
Move for adoption.
Is there discussion?
Guys, if you got any questions at all now, like I said, Kelly's available out here in the audience and can answer anything, but we've worked really hard. I think we've got a good sound budget. I think we've got good elected officials that will help us to live within this budget, and I expect to see another successful year in 2020.
Justice Hyde?
Yes.
Justice Burge?
Yes.
Justice Clay?
Yes.
Justice Sleeman?
Yes.
Justice Hinton?
Yes.
Justice Helpler?
Yes.
Justice Jackson?
Yes.
Justice Wilson?
Yes.
Justice Norval?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
You've approved appropriation ordinance 2019-42. We have an appropriation ordinance for the employee bonus.
Ask the clerk to read, please.
Appropriation ordinance number O 2019-43. An ordinance authorizing modifying appropriations for the operation of Mississippi County government, including changes in appropriations for certain departments of the county government for the calendar and fiscal year of 2019 and for other purposes. Whereas the 2019 budget appropriations need to be amended to include bonus pay for employees. Now therefore be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that the following appropriations modifications are hereby made for the 2019 budget. 1, bonus pay for employees is approved as follows. Full-time employee with 1 year or more service will receive $600. Full-time employees with less than 1 year service will be prorated at $50 per month from date of hire through December 31st, 2019. Should employee resign, quit, or terminate prior to December 31st, 2019, bonus pay will be deducted from final paycheck. Part-time permanent employee with 1 year of service will receive $300. Part-time permanent employee with less than 1 year of service will be prorated at $25 per month from date of hire through December 31st, 2019. Should employee resign, quit, or terminate prior to December 31st, 2019, bonus pay will be deducted from final paycheck. The attached schedule for line item account numbers and amounts of additional appropriations is incorporated and made a part hereof by reference. Bonus pay shall be paid in the payroll of December 31st, 2019. 2, all appropriations previously authorized, approved, and made as to all other offices, departments, and agencies of county government, and all other funds not hereinabove changed are to remain as previously appropriated. Detailed provisions of said appropriations are reflected in the schedule of specific items listed by account numbers within the category for each office and filed in the office of the county clerk. 3, this ordinance being an appropriation ordinance shall be in full force and effect immediately from and after its passage and approval by the county judge.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Glad we can give it. I wish we could give more.
Justice Ash?
Yes.
Justice Byrd?
Yes.
Justice Clay?
Yes.
Justice Freeman?
Yes.
Justice Hinton?
Yes.
Justice Huffman?
Yes.
Justice Jackson?
Yes.
Justice Nelson?
Yes.
Justice Normal?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Just passed appropriation ordinance O 2019-43. We'll move on to old business.
I'll make a motion that we override the veto of ordinance 2019-39.
Is there discussion?
I'll second it.
Judge, discussion, on this override thing, there's been some articles in the newspaper that have been unfortunate. And a big part of the unfortunate part is some of the people that were mentioned in those newspaper articles. Brenda Burke was a true servant of Mississippi County. Both Judge Nelson and myself worked with her for a number of years. Brenda worked for the county for almost 40 years, and she did a truly wonderful job in service to the county, and I owe her an apology. I want to give her an apology personally for her name being used in any shape, form, or fashion. She and I worked very closely together during the time that I was finance chair, that she was here, and I saw nothing but care and service to the county. And if I said anything that was misunderstood, misrepresented in any way, I would like to certainly publicly apologize to Brenda Burke for that. And then I'm sorry also to Kelly for her being drawn into some of this and through the newspaper articles. Kelly is still doing a good service to the county, and I'm sorry if she has been misaligned and anything that I have done in any way has done this or caused her harm or concern, and I apologize to her also, but I think they both deserved at least my public apology on that. And in this unfortunate circumstance, this has nothing to do with personnel or personal. This is not personal on anybody. I've studied and studied and studied. Why did we not do this for Brenda Burke? What we have is, we've got two elected officials that have extremely large budgets. The county sheriff and the county judge both have $5, $6, $7 million budgets between their combined accounts. And we've been fortunate to have some really, really good elected officials over the years, and it's not been cause for concern. The ordinance that we are trying to amend was a 2011 ordinance that was done the first year that Randy Carney was county judge, and it was directed by Brenda Burke at that time, but it ended up turning around and biting Brenda in the booty just a little bit and put her in a position that caused her great concern, stress, it affected her health and her family, and unfairly so, and to the point that she ended up quitting. And we should have fixed it at that time. And I lost a lot of sleep lately thinking about why did we not do that. And honestly, one Betty night, it hit me. The reason that we didn't fix it back then was we were under both state and federal investigations, and Brenda and I both were directly involved with those. And at that time, we were the only ones that were directly involved in those in the county. And the investigators had requested that we not rock the boat. They were quietly conducting their studies. And so truly, we weren't rocking the boat, and we didn't fix this for Brenda, and that was a grave mistake, and I'm sorry for that. Nothing against Judge Nelson at all. I wish we'd done this with Miss Brassfield when she was judge, and it just didn't occur. But this is a circumstance that in the future we need to remove whoever is in that financial director and financial management position, where they won't feel undue stress or concerns. And I'm not saying that Judge Nelson is doing that at all. I'm just saying it just needs to be fixed for now and in the future. And I think that's the reason that we brought the amendment to begin with. So I apologize if you're taking part. It's not personal, not in any way.
And I'd like to apologize publicly as well, both to Kelly and to Ms. Burke, and to the Quorum Court and to the county. If I've caused any harm, I apologize. I'd like to get back on track. I I want to work with everyone here. It's no secret that I have been against this, but at the same time, this has been an extremely busy year, and I can find some gratefulness that I've been relieved of some of these duties, because with the new courthouse project, this has been it's been more than a handful. So
We truly want to work as a court with you and together, and we don't want to step on you in any shape, form, or fashion.
no, and I do not want to cross bounds over into the quorum courts.
Well, you are the CEO. You are our county CEO, and we respect that, and we think that you have the ability to be the best that we've ever had. So,
Well, I don't make an excuse, but you know, first year is tough.
well, we loaded you up when you came in and had over 30 meetings just trying to get this new courthouse renovation passed. And it wasn't fair to you that we put so much on you right at the beginning, and we didn't give you a fair start to begin with.
Yeah, and I've had a big time with it, so. And if there's any other further comments or questions, then we'll go ahead and call the roll.
Justice Ash,
Yes.
Justice Byrd,
Yes.
Justice Clay,
Yes.
Justice Lehman,
Yes.
Justice Hinton,
Yes.
Justice Hepler,
Yes.
Justice Jackson,
Yes.
Justice Nelson,
Yes.
Justice Norval,
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes.
Just passed. Just passed it. I would like to say that this has been it's been an enjoyable year. It's been 2019 has been a tough year. And this is the last quorum court meeting that we're going to have for 2019, the last quorum court meeting we're going to have for this decade, the last one we're going to have here for a while. We'll be moving to Osceola. And the budget has been a tremendous burden to overcome. I'd like to also thank Kelly for all her long hours and difficult work, and the Finance Committee. I'm also thankful to our new quorum court members, Justice Jackson and Justice Hepler, for their quick learning of county government. Like I said, the year has been filled with a lot of accomplishments, and I'm grateful for the help of the quorum court. You know, when I stepped in January 1, we had the referendum, which was just 6 weeks away. So we made 33 trips trying to inform the public of that, and grateful for the public's passage at 72%. And right after that, there was a bond issue, and to be quite frank about it, I found out I knew a whole lot less about bond issues than I thought I did. So that was a learning curve. And then right after that, the architects came in. I was not prepared for how fast that was going to go. And then we had to move out of the Blythe courthouse and move over here. It was, those were some exhausting months. And so I'm grateful that we've gotten most all this behind us, and hopefully things will kind of slow down and get to be in a regular pace. But I thank each and every one of you and all the elected officials for making this job a lot easier. And we'll move on to 2020 and see what we can accomplish there.
Amen.
Is there any other comments, questions?
Just one. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Move to adjourn?
All in favor? Aye. Adjourn.